Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. Look who's in the house. Poncho Nevárez is with us today. We're going to have a great time talking with Poncho today. But first of all, I got to say thank you to each one of you checking out the No Cover TV podcast. All the audio ones that are on Spotify are now on YouTube, so you can check out all those interviews. And you can check out, of course, these great video ones that we're doing with the artists. It's like being back on TV, back in the old times. Oh, man, that was a long time ago. But anyways, having a lot of fun, bringing in all genres, age groups, and it is amazing. All over the world, too, these artists are coming from. So check them out. First, you got to check out the interviews. Then you check out the music, okay, folks? So what am I going to do next? That's right. What is my 3 favorite words, people? Support these artists. Go to the shows, pay a cover charge if there is one. Get to that swag table. Get an album, a CD, a hoodie, T-shirt, coffee mug, bumper sticker, keychain. Oh my, it goes on. Then get to that stage, have a good time, and see if you can stay afterwards and meet the artist. You never know where they're going. See if you can get an autograph because it's a great thing. These artists, remember, love doing what they're doing. Put a smile on your face, and your smile in return kicks it right back to these artists right here. It makes them happy with what they're doing and stuff. In the house, Poncho Nevárez is with us today. How you doing, Poncho? It's nice to have you today, my friend.
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. We got you are a busy person, I see. Very busy.
Most days, yeah, I'm grateful for
Most.
that. I get to do a lot of stuff.
Well, good, my friend. Good. We got quite a bit to chat about, but everybody out there in podcasts knows that I want to jump in your head and take you on a journey. Can we do that?
Sure, man. That's what we're here for.
Let's do this. All right. Well, I'm going to take you back to a ripe young age of around 8, 10 years old. Oh, yeah. Let's go back, my friend. So that's when we're listening to what our parents are listening to, siblings are listening to if we have them, and we're figuring out what we like to hear on the radio or the record player or cassettes or 8-tracks. What were you grasping on as far as music and listening to and starting to like at that age?
I was listening to a lot of Everly Brothers. My dad really liked the Everly Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to a lot of Elton John. My mom liked Elton John. I
Beautiful.
was listening to some Leon Russell records that my dad also had. Um, and then we had a really neat radio station that broadcast. Grew up on the border that broadcast from Mexico, and it would play all kinds of music, just from rock to you know at the time what was like the beginning of rock and roll in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Okay.
what I guess would pass for outlaw country. You'd hear a lot of what Willie Nelson was doing out of Austin.
Oh, yeah.
They'd even play some odd like gospel records that I really liked because the harmonies were really good. The Louvin Brothers, which is
Oh, yeah.
an odd group, for if you're gonna like groups. But I was drawn to it because I liked the harmonies that they would do. And my mom had a few Graham Parsons records. I would listen to those.
Well,
We had Linda Ronstadt records at the house. We had Elvis Presley. I'd listen to that. The Beatles. But I remember listening to a lot of Everly Brothers. A lot.
that's a quite like eclectic collection there. Sounds like father had some good ears on what he liked to listen to. Was any of your family members musically inclined?
My grandfather was a band leader, so he had
Oh,
he had an orchestra, and he was the band
okay.
leader. And so he would play saxophone and lead the band. That's what he did.
Whoa, great. So, at that age, were you want to start playing music, singing, playing an instrument,
I,
anything
I
like that?
Yeah, I mean, I taught myself how to play the piano. We had a piano at the house, and I taught myself how to play it. And then I there was a guitar around, and I kind of didn't pay much attention to it. And then I picked it up later, and I enjoyed singing along with the records that or the radio. And I mean, I was really interested in sports. That's really what I liked as a kid. And but
Okay.
music was always there, and so I couldn't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't get away from it. It was always there.
Have any siblings? Younger, older?
Yeah, I had an older sister, and I've got a younger sister, and my younger sister is a wonderful piano player,
Oh,
and
wow.
and so my older sister she took a couple of lessons and she could play, but she didn't keep playing. But my younger sister has a very good singing voice, and she plays the piano very, very well.
Well, that is amazing. I'm going to jump back to that question in a second that I want to ask. But when did you start picking up the guitar? What age
I
was
was
that?
I was probably about 12, 11
Oh,
maybe, and they needed people to play in a school choir, and so that's kind of what I started doing is plugging myself into the school choir, and then from
okay.
there I just kind of kept playing, around the edges, and I didn't really play seriously or more seriously until I got to college.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I got together with some other guys, and I went to school in Austin, and I'd play, some of the bars. There was always been a very good music scene in Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
and we were a small part of that for a while. And then I just kind of left it. I started, um, moving on in life and not thinking that music was going to be anything for me other than just enjoying it. And
Okay.
I was in the legislature, uh, and I used to play this old piano in the members lounge. And so one day one of the members said, I've got a band and we need a piano player for this weekend for a gig that we're going to do.
Okay.
And I hadn't played in a band in a long time. And I said, all right, I'll sit in, and I learned the songs, and I realized that I didn't want to play anybody else's music, and I could probably make my own if I thought I could. And I
Right.
felt like I was at a point in my life where I had something to say, and so I started to write it down and make music.
Okay. Great. So let's go back because we jumped ahead a little bit. But
Yeah.
okay, well, let's get to we're at 18 now, and that's when life begins. We're going to start, life. We're going to get married, have children, we're going to go to school, and all that. You went to school, and you became an attorney, didn't you?
Yeah, so like I said, I went off to Austin, Texas, and I went to undergrad there, and I ended up going to law school in San Antonio, and that's kind of what I did. And I basically put music on hold for a good while.
Really? Okay. So, I mean, I've been listening to the music acoustically and the band would be the Red Floors, right?
Right. So the Red Floors is kind of my alter ego, right? And so I put together some guys that would basically, we started playing together, and I put everybody together for a reason because I wanted to play my music, right, and not
Mhm.
have a cover band, and so uh, the band was put together for that reason. And then when we got together to record the record, I wrote all the songs, but one of them on the record, I co-wrote it with another friend of mine. But that's the genesis of that. But it's basically the Red Floors is me and my producer, and then we plug in different people depending on what we're gonna do. Like we recorded a new album of music. I'm almost done with it, and
Right.
we
Nice.
demoed another 30 songs that are for basically another project that we're doing, and we plugged in a lot of different musicians that have played successfully at a lot of different levels, and we were able to do that and surround us with a lot more experience, right? And
Right.
a lot of players that I was looking or anxious to play with, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I'm looking to play with different musicians to see where it takes me, right?
Sure. Why not? Definitely. Now, you're doing both acoustic and the band. What are you doing more of at the moment?
I mean, right now I'm trying to put together a band that we can take on the road
Okay.
come spring and summer, and get
Right.
into some of these festivals because I like playing. I don't really enjoy playing acoustic shows, and the
No.
reason I say that is I I like people to hear the songs that way because I wrote a lot of them that way, and I like people to imagine how I wrote them, right, or
Sure.
the way I imagined them. But there's a reason I recorded them a certain way, right? Because that's the way I want them to sound ultimately, and that's what I want to reproduce for people live is the way the record sounds, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Definitely. So, I mean, the band, the Red Floors, are you playing out at all?
No, so we're on we're working on the record, and
Okay.
and we have a couple of shows lined up in December to finish the year,
Okay.
and then
Sure.
that'll give me enough time to get the record finished, mixed and mastered, and then we're in a queue right now to get it pressed for vinyl. You know, the first record we pressed it to vinyl, and we had some success selling that, you know, online and at shows. And so I buy and listen to my music on vinyl. And so when I
Okay.
recorded the record, it was important for me to do the same. And those are the plans we have for the new record and for the other project as well.
Okay. Okay. I'm just curious, how are you juggling all this, being an attorney and doing the music?
Well, I mean, I've got my oldest daughters are already off at college, and I have a son
Okay.
I have a son who's 14, who I spend a lot of time with. But I just, I mean, I don't suffer from, you know, I'm not tired, and so I've got
Oh, that's good.
energy, and you know, I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic, and so I've got 5 years clean and sober, and
Bravo.
thank you. And I think more than anything, that allows me the opportunity. Like I said, I told you earlier, I get to do this stuff, right? And I think that allows me the opportunity to really focus on the things that I need to focus on as I'm doing them, you know. You know, right now when I get off this, I've got some things I got to do for a couple clients, and then I'm gonna sit down and figure out how to arrange a song that we're gonna finish tonight.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I think that as long as I've got energy to do it and the desire and the drive to be creative, I'm gonna
Sure.
keep doing it.
Well, good. That's great, Poncho. Now, your debut album was 57, right?
Yes, sir. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Can you explain to me and the folks out there what 57 means to you?
57 literally is a highway, and it's a highway that runs all the way from South America to Canada, and it happens to run right through here. And so it is it's literally that, but for me it means a lot more. It was the way out of here, and it was the way back. And
That's true.
so I think that the album and the title track itself, the title track's kind of a love letter to wherever you're from, and the idea that, and it's part of all that journey, right? About leaving,
Yeah,
coming back, in what condition you leave, what condition you may come back in,
very
and
true.
what are the things that that feed you, right? In this case, a lot of the symbolism, you know, the Rio Grande River runs right through here, right? And I literally live next to the river, and so
Yeah,
the
okay.
rivers the river's been a big part of my life, and I've drawn a lot of ideas about how I want my music to sound just by living by the river. And
Sure.
it seems like an odd source of inspiration, but it has been that.
Well, it is an amazing river. I've been over it several times, and I can imagine sitting on the banks. A lot of feelings can probably wash right in, and I think would hit home on a lot of different things to be able to make you very inspirational in what you do.
Yeah, and I think y'all that at the end of the day, the albums just kind of, the songs were out there. I look at it like they were just kind of floating around there for me to kind of pluck them out of the air, and I was able to do that. And you know, I wrote some of them when I was in the legislature, and I was already you know, plugging in different people to play with live, and I'd kind of experiment with them live, and then some of them evolved over time, and then basically I finished arranging them and getting them ready to record during the pandemic,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
and so it's got that the album, and I'm never gonna not write about, you know, my experiences, both being clean, sober, and being an addict and alcoholic is part of it. Some of it's very obvious, and some of it's not, right? Just and it just depends. But
Yeah.
the album to me was a bridge between those two existences that I had, and I'm grateful that the songs came to me as they did, because they just did.
They're amazing songs. And speaking of songs, I think some of the people out here might like to hear a performance from you. Could we get one out of you, Pancho?
Sure. I've got my guitar right here. Let's tee it
All
up.
right. Beautiful. All right. Poncho
This
Nevárez is
is
going to put it on.
this is a song. It wasn't one of the singles that we released, but I really like the song because I wrote it on a series of napkins at an airport
I've done
uh,
that too.
after having I don't want to call it an argument, but I was having a conversation with my wife, and I was at a point where I like to blame people for a lot of my apparent misfortune or not, and I just felt really lonely, and this was my response to being lonely, and I was always around a lot of people just because of the nature of my job and the nature of what I was doing, but I just felt like even in a room of 1,000 people, I was alone, and this is not. It's called Sleep Alone. I tuck myself in almost every night. I turn the fire down. I hold my pillow tight. And I can watch my shows in the middle. And just like that, I sleep alone. Sunday morning paper reads we are at war. The five-star general on TV says it's so. If I'm out presidents, they can't take me. It does make a difference in your name. I sleep alone, there ain't no wrong or right. I leave a crease in the sheets beside me each and every night. Better man would have done you like that, but I can't deny. Yeah, just like that, I sleep alone. Spent some time away now, playing, writing songs. Contrary to belief, they're not about you at all. I change the words around like some old lying fool. I'm in our bed, there's me, there's no you. I sleep alone, there ain't no wrong or right. I leave a crease in the sheets beside me each and every night. Better man would have done you like that, 'cause I can't deny. Yeah, just like that. I sleep alone. Light is fading, I know what comes next. I ask the question now, the answer's always yes. For a moment, footsteps echo in his life. Ain't nobody home, just the coming of the night. I sleep alone, there ain't no wrong or right. I leave a crease in the sheets beside me each and every night. Better man would have done you like that, 'cause I can't deny. Yeah, just like that, I sleep alone. And I sleep alone.
Oh, yes. Woo! Bravo, Poncho Nevárez. Thank you for that. Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
Maybe
guys.
we get another one at the end of the show. We'll see. We'll see. We got more to chat about, my friend. That was awesome, brother.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
that was real good, man. So before we get any farther, tell everybody in podcast land where they can find Poncho's music and the Red Floors and everything like that.
Sure, they can find it at Amazon.com, the redfloors.com. They can find us on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. You can buy the record. Hell, you can walk in my office and buy it right now if you want. I'll
There
sign
you go to the
it.
office.
If you walk in right now off the street, I'll sign it for you. But it's
There you
available
go.
anywhere you can stream music. It's available. The Red Floors. Uh, it's
Right.
9 songs. The
Yeah.
album 57, the single 57. I think we released 3 singles off it. And I didn't set out to write singles. They kind of happened. But I wrote the record, because I'm kind of old school, so I write albums. This
Right.
is the
Right.
record,
You're right. You're old school.
and but I really enjoyed writing the music and the songs for this record because it was a very good exercise in being able to finally channel all these things that I felt like I needed to say. And really, in the end of, as I started getting clean and sober, and even right on the edge of that, I didn't really have a place where I could be honest about what was going on with me and myself. And really, the only place where I had any real truth and honesty was in my music. And, I was able to say a lot of things about myself that I couldn't really say in any other forum.
Right.
And I took that and I did something with that. And I think that
Yeah.
as I sat down and started writing what will become the next record, and I don't have a title for it yet, I'm kind of bouncing that around. I use those experiences, and I hope that I hope people see the difference in what I did on this first one and what we were able to do on the second one, and the other projects that we have. But I certainly feel like I've matured as a writer. That I keep sharpening, those tools that I have to be able to write these songs. And I never stop writing, even when I'm working on other stuff. I never suffer from writer's block. I think some of the
Yeah.
things, arguably, they suck, but I mean, I have to, I have to go through the process, and I figure out what
Right.
works and what
Right.
doesn't. Right?
Exactly. It sounds like for many people, when we go through some things in life, that music definitely can release a lot of things in a good way and get it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, and I've had friends that are artists that, have struggled through whatever it is they're struggling with, and
Sure.
some people that I know that are immensely talented, and they can't get out of their own way, despite the fact that they
No.
have this immense talent for something like this. And
Yeah.
you know, I I look at those things. I see myself sort of as a cautionary tale as well, but I also tell people, look, if you don't think you can get better or do something different or change, you can. And I think change was hurting me because I was resisting the change, and once I changed, boy, did a lot of things kind of fall into place, right?
Oh yeah, they do. They really do. You just keep your heart into it. It'll work out. It will. It will. You're definitely on a heck of a journey, my friend, and great music all the way. I can't wait to hear the new album when it comes out, my friend. So now, when you did perform and stuff, was it for mostly smaller venues, or did you happen to do any bigger things like
Sure,
festivals or?
we played a couple of big shows, festivals where one of them we've never headlined anything like that, but we'd come in and play, to a couple,
Sure.
2 or 3 thousand people, in an
Oh
afternoon,
yeah.
and then a lot of them were smaller venues in Austin, which are some of the same stages that Willie Nelson or Ryan Adams or Jason Isbell has played, and you know Bob Schneider,
Oh yeah.
Bonnie Raitt, all these people that I admire, being able to play on some of these same stages and these same venues in and around Austin, and in Nashville, was something.
Well, that is something to be able to feel that vibe from all those great artists that were standing right where you were standing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, do you plan on trying? I know you're busy with being an attorney, but want to get out of town and play with the red flannel? I mean, the red floors or anything, or do anything? Get out.
Yeah, I mean, I had a booking agent, and as I started working on the new record, I kind of put, touring aside because I didn't really necessarily need to. I wanted to, but I didn't necessarily need to, and I'm fortunate for that. And I just kind of wanted to experiment with with the band, and we had some members that just it wasn't gonna work with how I
Yeah.
wanted it to go, and that's okay. That's how those things evolve,
Yeah, they do.
and so that's kind of been the fly in the ointment, so to speak. But it's not for lack of uh, moving forward, because I feel like uh, the creative part of it is moving forward. It's very
Oh, yeah.
continuous, right?
It is very true.
And it's prolific. And I think this is the next part of it, right? Starting to play more live shows.
Well, good, good. I was browsing and looking around and stuff, and I see you're up for 6 categories here at the ISSA.
Yeah, it was. I think
Nice.
it was in Georgia. Uh,
Atlanta, Georgia,
yeah, last. I want to say it was August.
August 24th.
Yeah, and so we went up there and watched the show. We were finalists. We didn't win anything, but that's okay. It was fun.
I didn't win either. So, hey, what? It's okay. It's okay. I still love what I do.
Sure.
Most definitely. So, and also I'm looking at your guitars, of course, because I'm a musician myself. You still play that Rickenbacker?
Yeah, I've got that, and right now I play this, obviously, this Buck Owens harmony. It's a 1970 Buck Owens harmony guitar that it's got a great tone.
Oh yeah,
I like how loud it is. Like, it's very loud,
it
and
is.
I've got I play a Telecaster a lot on stage,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
and I play lately. I've been playing a Les Paul because I like how meaty it sounds. Like, I've been playing a lot more lead guitar than I've ever
Oh,
played,
nice. Nice.
and I'm gonna end up playing a lot more guitar on this record than I did on the last one, just
Okay.
because we're layering more guitars in, and I feel like I can do it.
Sure. Sure.
And so, a lot of the songs, as I was writing them, I tell my producer, he's an excellent guitar player. I'm like, well, this is what I want to play as a solo, and I'd play it. He's like, well, let me play it because I want to play it better than he does. And I'm not Eric Clapton that can sing and play all these leads
Uh,
like Clapton can, and so I enjoy playing the guitar on stage, and so I tell these guys, like, give me a chance to rip a solo here and there because I like doing it. And
right. Let me do it once. It's
once,
my
yeah,
break.
and but I got my piano wherever I go usually, and I play that a lot. I play, you know, I get up in the morning, I play that. I've got one in my office, and so I play that,
There you go.
and
Yeah.
I try not to be too far. There's a piano in the lobby of my apartment in Austin, and so I've worn out the concierge there because I play it every day.
That's okay. That's okay. You're an artist. That's great. Yeah, I used to have a Rickenbacker back in the late '80s, and this wasn't the sound for me and my band, so I just sold it.
I I
Which,
I love how jangly it sounds. I just got this
yeah,
really. There's just something about it. It's got a great tone.
it does. I love the guitar itself, but it just wasn't the right tone for me. So, yeah, it all worked out though. So, all right, my friend. Oh, yeah, we're going to get another song out of Poncho. Not right yet. I'm going to hold on, just stall you a little bit. But I got some fun questions I want to ask you, my friend. Can I
Sure.
do that? Now I get to put Poncho on the spot. Oh, yeah, here we go. Drum roll. Okay, my friend. Where do I go? I'm going to mix these around, I guess. All right. 2 answers on this question right here. And we're going to think around the world. 2 stages Poncho wants to step on and perform. Any stage in the world, what would you really want to perform on?
Red Rocks and Carnegie Hall, if I
Red
could.
Rocks, Carnegie Hall. I like both of those. Red Rocks is awesome. Been there, definitely, my friend. And that's not too far from you.
Yeah, I mean, well, Red Rocks, Colorado,
Yeah,
Carnegie Hall. I'm probably in the middle. Right in between them both, right?
yeah, there we go, right between. Well, I like those answers. Now, this one right here. You get 2 answers on this one, and this is people. A person that's alive, person that has passed away. Who in your heart did you really want to step stage on and perform with?
Someone that's alive, I would love to play with. It's kind of a weird, like, play with, and I don't know who they are, but I want to play with them is the polyphonic spree because I like how much noise they make.
Okay, I
I
like that.
like it. It's it's very joyful and it's so layered and there's so many things going on, and I want to see where I would fit into
Sure,
that group.
I
Does that
like
make
that.
sense?
Yeah, it does. I
And
like that.
then
It's
as far as somebody that's passed, I mean, they're the Everly Brothers. I like to play with them. I'd love to.
I like that.
I'd love to be the third or the third part of that harmony. Not that they need it, but
Just to
I'd love to be
harmonize.
that. And so when I was a kid, I would practice singing, Phil's parts or Don's parts, and I still do that. Like I'll sing an Everly Brothers song in the shower, right? 'Cause I just
There you go, in the shower. There you go. I make sure the car windows are rolled up when I try to sing. Oh yeah, that is wonderful. All right, let's go to this next one here, and I'd love to hear the answer on this. When you're on a stage performing with the band and stuff, you got a good sized crowd there, and you're up there. You guys hit the first chord, start singing, and people turn around, and go, "Hey, good music. Let's get to the stage." They start swinging, swaying. They might dance. I don't know, but most of all, they might be singing your music to you. When you see that, Poncho, it's got to hit you in the heart. How's it make you feel, brother?
the first time that happened, we played a show where uh, I started to notice that we were getting a lot of Shazams in a pocket, right? And I just coincidentally we ended up playing a show, and we did a really good job. Well, they did a really good job promoting that show, and we had a really good crowd. And we we had not. I don't know why we had not prepared to play 57 in the set that night, which is
Okay.
kind of crazy because it's the title track, and it seemed to be a song that was getting a lot of run on the radio. And
Oh, good.
I found out that one of the reasons people were shamming the song is they were playing it on local radio.
Oh, well,
And
nice.
so when we were getting ready to close up the set, and I kept hearing, in between the breaks from the audience, like 57. I'm like, guys, we gotta play that song. And so we played it, and there were a couple people singing it back to us, and it was surreal. I think I stopped singing in the middle of it because I was watching, and
Right.
I just kind of I had to snap out of the trance I was in because I was watching somebody who was completely that I was completely unattached to singing back my song to me, and in that I became attached to them for that reason. It was just like wow.
There you go. That's cool, man. And what's cool is you're going to remember each of those moments, no matter how many there are. You remembered all of them. That's a
Yeah, and I
great.
mean, and I don't take any of those for granted. I don't know how many of
No,
those.
no, I
I
do.
don't know how many of those I'd ever get, but I got that
Right.
one.
I agree, my friend. I agree. All right. Now, this question here. Now, this usually happens, and it does happen in my hard rock bands, heavy metal bands, doom bands, whatever you want to call them. But this might have happened to you, Poncho. Let's see. Let's dig. Any embarrassing moments on stage you want to reveal?
Yeah, so I did not. I'm really I want things to work the way they're supposed to, and you always got to
Right,
plan for
right.
things not working. And one of the things that obviously will throw you off is if your guitar, if the strap comes off, right?
Oh, yeah. Boing.
And we were playing in at I think it was at the Saxon. No, yes, it was at the Saxon Pub in Austin, and uh, the guitar the strap came off. I didn't use what I usually use to thinking it's not going to come off. It'll be fine. Well, it came off, and it was I I could not gracefully figure out a way to pick my guitar up, and
Oh, no.
the more I tried to fix it, the worse it got. And then now the mic stand's rubbing up against the guitar, and
Oh, no.
it was it seemed like forever. It couldn't have been more than a minute, right? But it just
Right.
a minute on stage is an eternity, right?
Oh, it
And
is.
I felt honestly in that moment I felt naked, like anytime I close
Really
up
exposed. Yeah. Yeah. All eyes
yeah.
are on you. That's right.
And and I'm I there were a couple times too where, and I tell people sometimes during the show, I laugh is, there were a lot of gigs that I played where I was pretty drunk or I was high, and you know, I at the time I wanted to believe that I was at 100%, but I know I wasn't. And even then, it was still pretty good. And I tell people I laugh now, and I'm on stage, and in between a song, I'll say, this is the part of the show where I used to go backstage and take a bump and drink,
Right.
and
Drink.
have whiskey. But since I don't do that anymore, I'm just gonna play another song. How's that?
We're just gonna continue. I
Yeah,
like how you do that, Pancho. It's cool. Let's see. Hey, you think we can get another song out of you? One more?
yeah, man.
That's very
So
late.
so this song, this song is also on the album. It's called "The Night," and it's about loss. I kind of, not kind of, I looked at, as I was writing it. I I was dealing with a lot of with death. People that were close to me that had died, and I wasn't sure how to deal with it. I hadn't really dealt with that kind of loss with people that, one of them was my sister, and one of my best friends. They died within about 6 months of each other, and this was my reaction to that, or my, equating death with the night, and this is what this song is about. It's called "The Night." That it's at the liquor store. You're lying in the backside and some weekend sweat. Hollow moon and echoes through your Robert's light. Darkness settles on the town, mindless of the time. The night, rush out through the days, burning up in the sky. The night, take everything I love and leave it behind. Tattered jeans are holding my soul, offer no protection. There's a road and I know it well, and it runs in one direction. There's an edge in the air outside, I can hardly breathe. Blind man raising hell, only he can see. Night, night. Take everything I love and leave it. Blind man told me something about, yeah. It doesn't matter now, I shrug you something. Will salvation come now, with the morning light? On my knees, won't the daylight come and rescue me from the night? The night, rush out through the days, burning up the sky. The night, the night, yeah.
Oh, yes, my brother. Thank you, Pancho. Excellent, excellent people. And after the show, go to Pancho, The Red Floors on Spotify or wherever and check out this great music. It's
Thank you, man.
wonderful.
I
Oh, it's
appreciate that.
great. Let's get a few more questions out of you before we wrap this up, Poncho. Now, I was going to bring this up a little when we were talking about the younger days, and you mentioned your sister was a piano player.
Yeah.
And
She plays very well. My younger sister.
and what reason I brought her up is that collaborations. Have you ever thought of collaborating with your sister?
Well, she was actually in the band for a while,
Oh, okay.
and we she quit the band, and um, but I've got some things that I want to work with her on. We just haven't coincided, but actually, on this other project that I've gotten, I've written some songs that I want her to play on and sing on.
Okay, great.
So I think
Yeah.
we're gonna be hearing from that. It makes sense to bring my sister in because one, I know she can do the heavy lifting, and
Right on. I
so
like
this,
that.
yeah.
Good. I like to hear that. Now, I want to ask you this. Is there a time going to come when Poncho gives up being an attorney or retires and just full force with the music?
I think so. I mean, you can't do. I mean, nothing lasts forever, and I think
Hmm.
that the love that and not that I would love practicing law any less. It's just at some point I want to move on and do other things. One of the things that I do aside from playing music is I coach football. My son plays football, and I'm around the game a lot, and I really enjoy that. And I enjoy working with the kids. I started out, my interest was because of my son, right? And I love the game a lot, and I realized that if I wanted to make the experience good for my son, I I needed to make it good for all the kids that were involved, and so
Right.
I saw an opportunity there um, to do that, and I do that, and I think that those passions that I have for music and for uh, sports and service through that, I think those are the things that I want to keep doing as long as I can do them, as long as I've got the health to do it, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. And with the next, saying in the next 5 years, where do you want to be with the Red Floors and your music?
Well, hopefully I win a Grammy.
There you go. I hear you. You got my vote. Nice.
Well, honestly, I want to just keep writing songs. I want to keep writing songs. I want to keep recording them.
Oh,
I want to keep playing them for people. And I tell you, I don't like playing acoustic. I, I think the better thing is not that I don't like that. It's just I want people to enjoy and hear the songs the way I imagine them once I've made them.
right. It was meant to be. Right.
But that's what I want to keep doing. And what that means, outside of the creative bubble and all that, I'll let somebody else worry about that. I'm just going to keep making it, trying to put it in front of as many people as I can. And, the business itself is very complex. It's very difficult to navigate. You know, I,
Yes.
I, uh, I'm not, I went to private school, so I'm not very smart. And, uh,
I
and
went to a
so
city.
well, no, I mean, so I think that I'm learning as I go in terms of navigating the business side, but I also realize that none of that matters unless I make the best music I can make, and so I focus on that.
Right on, my friend. And what's great is you got a lot of people supporting your corner, and I want to give a big shout out to Sandra, who
Yeah,
connected us.
she's been a big help, and I appreciate her help.
She's wonderful. She's a wonderful person for doing what she does. So thank you, Sandra, out there. My last question for you before we wrap this up: you got any advice to these youngsters that want to do what we do?
Yeah, I mean, just keep playing. Like there is, and and if this is what you want to do, like do it. I think that I there's probably a point in my life where maybe this is what I should have done, you know, full speed, and I can't look back and say, well, I should have done it. That time has come and gone. The opportunity is in front of me now, and I'm
That's
doing
right.
it. And but I think that I tell them, if this is what you're meant to do, like do it and throw all your weight behind it and practice. Um, you
I
know,
agree.
I and record everything that you do. I know songwriters that write songs and they don't record them. I'm like, why? You know,
Right. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Record. I don't know how many cassette tapes we went through recording every practice.
and I mean, I'm constantly doing that because I don't know where the next, the ideas are going to come from, and they come. And
Right.
but I there to me, the best is when I sit down. in the place that, I've got places where I work, right? That's where I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
work. And having the piano keys in front of me or the guitar in front of me, and the idea starting to kind of swirl around, and then I start hearing it, and then it's feeding
Nice.
back to me.
Right on.
That to me, for anybody out there listening, to somebody younger, like, that's what you want. Be
That's,
that.
yeah. Go
Do
with your
that.
passion. Dreams
Yeah,
do come true, man. They do.
they
Yes,
can.
yes, they can. Make them come true. No, it's not impossible to do. Hey, everybody in the house. Poncho Nevárez is with us today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on the podcast, my friend. I want you
Anytime.
back as a year or so, 6 months. See what's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I will be back. And when I'm back, I'm gonna play some new music for you guys.
I want to hear it all, my friend. You're an amazing artist and singer, songwriter, all the above. So keep kicking ass, brother. All right?
Thanks,
All
Al.
right.
Take care, everybody.
We're out of here,
Bye.
everybody. Peace. Check out the next podcast coming up. We're out here with Poncho. Peace.